Okay, so there's two characters that I've always liked recommending, but at the same time, they've always been recommended with the caveat that they're not necessarily that good in Arena and Coliseum. And those two characters I'm talking about are Ogma and Maya. Both of these characters are very essential for clearing through Orbital Lift and Camazone, and especially Orbital Lift. I would say there's certain game modes or there's certain maps on here that are almost impossible without using both of those heroes. And as you can see in the top lists, they're all over the top of the list here in Orbital Lift. And this is some of the hardest content in the game. As you can see that, you know, only 3 people have been able to beat up to stage 707. To give you an idea, this is by far the hardest content. And then the characters that are actually used up here are usually always Maya and Ogma in some capacity. And then these characters trickle down to other parts of content such as Camazone, and then they would also help in clearing harder versions of the campaign such as World 11 and also World 13. Some of those stages are actually really hard. So I've always liked recommending them, but for the most part, they haven't been that viable in Arena and Coliseum. And both of these places are some of the best ways to get resources such as gems. If you look in the rewards here, this is your way to get weekly gems here, and so doing well in Coliseum and Arena is very important. So I always liked recommending these heroes, but at the same time, since they are not the best characters in very important game modes as Arena and Coliseum, it comes with a big caveat of like, it didn't really feel good to recommend these characters. But I feel like with the release of Camille, that's changed significantly because of this team right here. And now I would say, if the best, if not one of the best teams now in Coliseum. This was the team that topped the list in my top 100 of Coliseum. This is such a good team. And what's so cool about it is it's now creating more value for these two characters that are already so good in other game modes. So then these characters, if you pulled them in the beginning, or if you pulled them just accidentally going for other characters, because they don't come up in banners that often. I don't remember the last time I've seen Ogma and Maya. Maybe it was the 1-year anniversary when they came through, but I don't remember the last time I saw Maya on here. And what makes her so good is just crazy amounts of healing. What makes Ogma so good is he's by far the most survivable character in the game and gives survivability to everyone else through his passive. And I don't remember the last time I've seen him on a banner, but what's also cool about this is the lack of needing Future Princess with Camille. So for people that have just didn't start at the time that Future Princess was available or didn't go for her, you'd end up not getting Future Princess. They used to be a really big deal for your account. It would just be very hard to progress in campaign. It'd be hard to go forward in Arena and Coliseum. But at this point, we're looking through the top of the charts here nowadays in Arena. You're just seeing significantly less Future Princess. Since the season just ended, won't be able to see the top rankings, but it's a lot of Arena, Camille, Noxia, stuff like that. Yes, Future Princess is still very popular, and yes, you've got a really good deal in value of having Future Princess. So if you have kind of a melee team, it's really, I'm not saying this is the end of using Future Princess. I'm just saying that there's now significantly more ways to progress and actually compete in the top ranks nowadays with other characters. And that's what's so cool about this, is that you're not pigeonholed into just the same old team all the time now. So depending on how your luck went, because at the end of the day, it really comes down to how what random characters you ended up pulling out of gacha. But what's cool about this is that not every person's roster is different. So being able to have multiple paths of success based on what you ended up pulling, whether you're ranged heavy or you went melee heavy, you ended up not getting Future Princess, you ended up getting Future Princess, it doesn't matter. Now there's more choices you have to actually be successful in all game modes. The core of all this is that Maya and Ogma are pretty much necessary. And that was what was so interesting about them, is they had this weird dichotomy of not competitive in Arena and Coliseum, and that's where a lot of conversation is, but at the same time being almost necessary in those game modes of Orbital Lift and Camazone. And over time, the rewards you get from Camazone and Orbital Lift, mainly Camazone, are so essential for your account that neglecting that is going to really set you back far. So that's why they were always recommended. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, now you need more characters. So you need about 5 characters now. Whereas what's the real benefit that comes through with this is that to be able to clear pretty much all content in the game really only takes 4 characters now. You got the healer, you got the tank, you got this kind of off-tank support, and then you got the most busted character in the game in Camille here that's providing defense down, a really good weapon skill, can actually be the lead of your team, does a ton of damage. And then on top of all that, this is one of the best teams you can have in Arena, where mainly it would just be Ogma and Camille, and then you can throw another damage dealer on here. Ideally, you would get Arena as another off tank that's really good, but would provide different typing. But you could get by with Noxia, Ogma, and Camille, and then maybe replace Ogma with someone else, stuff like that. So you're getting so much value here with only a very minimal amount of characters nowadays. And you're not going to be missing out on anything, because it used to be you would be missing out on something where Future Princess was the staple, amazing and everything, but you would have to also pull like Ogma and Maya, and then you need to have the DPS to support her. Whereas now you have it all. You have the best Arena characters, you have the best progression characters, you have the best team in Colosseum. It's just really cool to see that these characters that have been around a very long time are getting better than what they were. They're not getting power creeped out. If anything, they're coming back into the meta and being even more useful than they were, not necessarily when they first released, because when they first released, they were some of the best characters in the game, but they kind of fell back, and now they're right back in there as some of the absolute best characters in the entire game. So I think that's really cool. I just really want to highlight that, and I think it's encouraging to see some change in the Arena meta and the Colosseum meta, and then characters that are good for progression are also becoming good in other game modes, so you can get a ton of value there. Because a lot of people, especially if you're free to play or a light spender, you're not getting many of these characters. Like, this is not normal at all to have anywhere close to this amount of characters. So I'm trying to keep it, you know, what is the minimal amount of characters you can actually progress with in this game, and it's getting to the point where you can do it all with essentially only 4 characters nowadays, which I think is totally awesome. And then, you know, eventually you can save your resources for that next Camille level game breaking character. You can always be ready for that next power creep moment that doesn't happen that often in this game. It happens once every like couple months, that we see these massive, like obviously broken super meta characters that really change the game here. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to end it here. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Because what I'm curious about are the people that didn't get Future Princess, or they've been playing kind of relatively recently, so they missed out on these banners and they've seen the game in a different lens than I've seen it. And that's another reason why I'm making this video, is because the timing of banners changes everything, and how your progression is going to go, which characters you go for, which DPS characters, stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to hear what you guys think down below in regard to that. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.